Welcome back to Soundwell Guitar. Today I'm going to be talking about a composer named Fabritio Caroso, an Italian composer from the Renaissance period. And I'm going to be talking about a piece of music he wrote named Castellana, which has a very unique application of the minor key. So I've been excited to make this video for a while. I use a lot of different classical tunes in my teaching program for my students, just simply to learn music, develop technique. But it's always fun to look into the backgrounds of some of these pieces that appear in some of my favorite anthologies, one of them being Charles Duncan's anthologies. Anyway, there's this interesting piece in his first anthology named Castellana. And when working with students on that, as always, I like to know a little bit about the background on it. And there's not a lot of information on the composer. I mean, he's on the internet, information about him. Apparently, he was a really good dancer, and he was a composer, and he was from Italy. What's more than the name of the tune, Castellana, that always gets my interest piqued whenever a classical song has a specific name like that, because more often than not, they're just named after things that they are. For example, if it's a song written for the sake of instruction, it'll be called a etude, which is a word that means study. So, or you might get another one that's called a minuet or a saraband. These are just dances. But then you suddenly get a unique name like this, Castellana. It means something more than just describing what the piece is. And Castellana, as far as what I can gather, if we're speaking the Italian language, Castellana means lady of the castle. I made a couple notes here, actually. In Italian, it could be a woman in charge of a large house. Here's another one. The second one, it was a set of short chains attached to a woman's belt used for carrying keys or other items. Okay, and then if this were in Spanish, I guess kind of the same thing. Woman of the castle, lady of the castle, Castellana. So can I get any information on this actual piece of music that tells me what he was writing about? Was he writing about the keychain thing? I doubt it. When you listen to the piece of music, it's in a minor key, and it seems as though it's trying to create a sense of dignity in it. And that's why I felt like this video was worth making, because when we use minor keys in compositions, more often than not, I instantly am thinking, well, it's going to be of more of a somber nature, like, it's like a gloomy day, or somebody died. Or if we put a little bit more of a heavier sound to it, it can sound angry, such as in metal. I think most songs have been written in metal have been written in minor keys. One of the only tunes I can think of in metal that was written in a major key, and it's like a cornerstone of metal, and that's the song Number of the Beast. Check it out. It's kind of interesting. It's like, as one of the bands, the cornerstone of metal, they wrote the song Number of the Beast, one of the greatest metal songs ever written, and it's in a major key. That's maybe a video for another time. Point is these minor keys, more often than not, are being used to convey a more somber, sad, and then sometimes even dissonant mysterious, maybe evil kind of sound. But that's not always the case. And this I felt was a good example of when a minor key has been used to almost embolden. And that's an interesting thought, about how you'd use the minor key, and how in this case the major keys would just fall short. Where am I going with this? Castellana, Lady of the Castle. Think about it. It's a song that this composer wrote, obviously about or for a woman who is, the master of the castle. Okay, she must have been really important. I mean, she lives in a castle, right? Imagine that, Renaissance period, Lady of the Castle, and she's got her own theme music. How do you make that sound? Well, again, the minor keys can sound kind of somber. Now, why would you choose a somber sounding key for this woman's music? Imagine it was music that was written for a big event she had, a coronation or whatever kind of parties they had in the 16th century. And this is her music as she's marching down the stairs, and the composer chose a major key, okay? And then it's going like, okay, sorry, that's not going to work. Instead, the composer chose a minor key, and in this case, the use of the minor key did not come off as somber or sad or evil or weak. It sounded powerful. It sounded bold. It sounded like it was music that commanded respect. It's this woman's theme music. Here comes the Lady of the Castle, and now, granted, it did land on the C major chord there, so I can kind of analyze it a little bit and understand that in a way how he was able to get away with the minor tonality and not sounding overly somber. Throw in some major chords there, and in fact even land your ideas on them. Actually, the tune itself lands on the A major chord. Now that's also a video for another time, but I will touch on that for a moment, that in the Renaissance period, minor keys oftentimes landed on the parallel major chord. That is, a song that's written in the key of A minor won't land on that chord. It will land on what I said, I called it the parallel major chord. That's then A major, like that. Because when the tune ends, and he goes like, didn't work. Really, it kind of leaves you hanging. But instead, where we get this, sounds very Renaissance-y, Game of Thrones-ish kind of, Lord of the Rings kind of stuff. Anyway, that's about all I've got to say on that. Hope you liked the video. Catch you in the next one.